Excuse the sniffles. Uh, I was doing a bunch of cleaning at one of the stores, and I did not wear a mask. And there's literally like 20, 30-year-old dust. So that was dumb, but it happened. So that's what that is. But anyways, I want to talk about something that is very common and very discouraging, and makes the ride really, really bumpy on the way to getting where you're going. It's this scenario where somebody is trying to lose body fat and they're doing everything. And for example, what does that mean? I want to keep hammering home this idea for you guys. Words, numbers, and so what? Those are the three filters that we want to use. We don't want to stop at words. We want to go to numbers, and then we want to go, so what, okay? Because too often people will use just the words to stop further inquiry, okay? Those are called thought stoppers, right? So what does it mean, okay, when somebody says I'm doing everything? So let's specify in this case, this person is actually putting a phenomenal effort in, okay? But we want to refine that, because we're not here to do stuff for the sake of doing stuff. Like, we're doing stuff because we want a result, right? And we want that result because we think it's going to make us feel good. But if we're forcing ourselves to do all this shit, which doesn't feel good in the moment, oh my God. And if we're forcing ourselves to do all this stuff in the moment, which doesn't feel good, you are not going to get to the other side, okay? You are most likely not going to get the result to begin with, because when we are fucking hammering it and trying to go so hard, we have a higher probability of not getting there to begin with, right? It's like, if I want to go from San Jose to Anaheim to go to Disneyland, and I'm like, well, I could get there at 65 miles per hour, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna redline it. I'm gonna go 90 miles, 100 miles per hour. Beyond a certain point, I'm just increasing the probability that I blow myself up along the way, right? That I don't even get to the destination. But if I stay at 65, 70, 75 miles per hour, I can still get there. Is it as fast as 100 miles per hour? No. But I have a higher likelihood of getting to the end, getting to the destination. So when people try to do all of this stuff, so the person is, like I said, they're putting a great effort in, but there's pieces missing. And when you're doing multiple workouts and it's stressful and you got something big coming up and there's work and there's this and there's that, you're like redlining it. And if you are not highly fine-tuned and refined in your language, in how you approach things, you have a good likelihood that you're not going to get to the outcome. Not because you didn't try hard enough, because you tried too hard, and also maybe there's some contextual things that we're missing, and that's what I'm going to get to next, okay? So I by the way, I love working out hard. Like, if you are stress-free and you have the time, like back in the day when I was carefree, not a responsibility in the world. We would work out multiple times a day. We would hang out at the gym. And that was fine when you're in your early 20s, your mid 20s. But then things become more serious, right? And if you cannot de-escalate the seriousness of all this stuff to be able to spend that much time and not have these things pile up in stress, then you're gonna have problems. So contextual, okay? So this person, like I said, doing all the right things, and she's doing multiple workouts, tracking calories, etc. She's participating in the 10,000 kettlebell swing challenge, and actually is the only person who's on pace to hit the 10,000 swing challenge, which is a phenomenal thing in and of itself. Very few people have completed the 10,000 swings. Is aspirational and directional, and very few people have completed it in full. But like I said, that's not the goal. The goal is to raise the floor and do more swings, but she's on the way. She had not been weighing herself regularly, because there was a lot of emotion attached to the number. Now I'm gonna get really like down to the nitty-gritty on how you actually look at stuff, because if you have emotion to the scale, it's not gonna work out for you. It's not. Like, I'm sorry. And I've gone through this myself as well. Like, even knowing all the stuff that I know and the experience that I have, when I get loose and relaxed in my, or undisciplined in my thinking, and let the emotions take the driver's seat, and I look down at the scale, I'm like, fuck, it didn't go down today? What the fuck? And I'll step on the scale, step off 10 times, because I am attaching a undesirable meaning and emotion and a story to that number. Okay, now let's say, I should really have a whiteboard to like kind of paint a picture here, but let's say I'm not even weighing in every day, okay? And so I'm not gonna have a full picture of what's going on. The only thing that matters when you're trying to lose fat is hitting the same amount of calories every single day, okay? If you do that honestly, right, truthfully, and this is for yourself, not anybody else. If you do that honestly, then sure, you don't have to weigh yourself. I don't know anybody successful and with a lot of experience who does that. Like, you want to know, what am I intaking? What's the outcome? What's the intake? What's the outcome? But hypothetically, if you hit your same calories every day, your weight will go down eventually. You just won't have any idea or any certainty around it. Next, data points. There is 0 point to looking at one number and having any meaning on it. Okay? If you choose to do that, now you are choosing to walk alone into the dark forest of emotional turmoil and distress. And I can't go in there. We can't go in there with you. You're on your own. There is a sign that says, do not attach stories and emotional, undesirable emotions to one number and one data point, because you have entered the dark forest of emotional disturbance and turmoil, and you're on your own. How do you actually interpret data? Now I'm going to show you, instead of telling you all the things not to do or the problematic things, let me just practically give you how, as a coach, I look at data to show me so that I can get information and I can measure progress and decide, do I need to increase calories, decrease calories, or keep them where they're at, okay? It's very simple. Day to day, I don't care. I don't even want to look at it every day. If I'm talking about, I'm looking at a client's thing. Week to week, I also won't really look at it until there's like a month of data. But when you have a month of data and I start looking week to week, here's what I'm looking for. There's various ways to do this. One thing, every week, I want to see, is there a new weekly low? If there's a new weekly low, every single week, we're making progress. The next thing, every week, the average of the 7 days will give you a number, and that average each week should be going down. That's a rolling average. That's another thing. The next thing, every week, right, you have 7 numbers, and they should be going down to the 10th decimal, right? So like, let's say 167.8, 167.9, 171.4. Let's say this particular person is around the 170. So they're weighing in for week 1, and let's say 5 of the days are 170s, so 170.4, 170.6, blah, blah, blah. Let's say one of those days is 169.4, and another day is 171.2. The following week, not only will I have a 1 weekly low, so lower than 169.8 or 4, I said, but also I will have less weigh-ins in the 170s. I'll have more weigh-ins in the 169s, and I might have 0 weigh-ins in the 171s. That is how you look at data. And you cannot get that information if you only weigh yourself once a week. If you only weigh yourself once every few months. You don't have that data. You can't look at it accurately. And you also can't do that when you get one weigh-in. You can't do it. You don't have anything to look at. We understand this stuff when it comes to, man, these allergies are really, I'm about to actually go get some allergy shots. So we'll see how that works out. And also, apparently, there's plants, which makes perfect sense. There are plants that filter out the, like, up to like 95% of dust mites and like mold spores and other things that cause allergies. So I will be getting those things as well, which actually is super cool. So I'm looking forward to that, because this thing is like not good. But anyways, getting back to the point, if you have one data point, you can't do that. You have to be kind to yourself. Now, okay, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper now, okay? There's other factors, okay? And I know this because I have worked with people with things like ulcerative colitis. I have worked with people with things like Crohn's, other autoimmune things. When I had a particular person who, she was a girl, she was normally like around 130. She got up to about 150 and she couldn't figure out why. And this was before she found out that she had this autoimmune issue. And she couldn't figure out why. She couldn't figure out what to do. And no matter what she was doing, she could not lose the weight. I had pointed her in the direction of Dane Johnson's Shield program, who if you do have any like autoimmune issue, like stomach related or digestion related, I would recommend, highly worth it. These guys are very good. Go reach out to Dane Johnson, the Shield program. These guys, like, they're amazing. So anybody with autoimmune stuff, especially stomach, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, etc., please go reach out to them. So this girl started working with them at my suggestion. I said, hey, I really like what Dane's doing. Go reach out to these guys, start working with them. Within 6 months, they had gotten her off the medicines that the doctor said that she would have to take forever. Now here's the next part. She lost 20 pounds like this. The reason why is because she was so inflamed. Like her body was so, like her body was going to war with all this stuff, that she was carrying 20 pounds of fluid throughout her body. Now we got to remember this. So if you're trying to lose weight and you got some sort of autoimmune issue, my suggestion is, like, yes, let's take care of the basics. Like, let's get enough protein, eat the right amount of food, and get your heart rate up a little bit and lift weights, right? But then go work on that specific thing with a professional, okay? Like I said, Dane Johnson, Shield Protocol, anything stomach related, go to him, okay? She lost 20 pounds like this, which was all just fluid, all inflammation. So now think about this. We're bringing it back to, you look at a number and you're like, it's not moving. I'm doing everything I can. Now it's time to, and if that is honest and truthful, right? Like, only you will know that. Like, am I actually hitting these calories, and am I actually hitting these steps? Whatever, that's for you, right? Because no one can know that really. If you are doing that and it's still not moving, and it should be, right? It's very logical. You have a coach or you have somebody telling you, okay, like 1,500 calories, X amount of steps, you should be losing about 1 pound per week here. But it's not moving. Now, you have to, I would suggest, like, do I have some sort of autoimmune? Maybe it doesn't even need to be autoimmune, but you got to ask and consider,